Hey there! So as a new health coach, you are probably overwhelmed trying to do it all. And especially when you get started and you're getting more and more clients, there's a lot of administrative type of tasks that can take up a lot of time. So if you're a new health coach who's putting in a ton of hours before and after your sessions, trying to keep track of every client, documenting everything they do, feeling overwhelmed with all the administrative tasks, and feeling like you're not being compensated for all the time you're actually putting in, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to share with you 5 simple tips that can help you work smarter, save time, and help your client be more empowered. So before we get into the 5 specific tips that I have for you today, it's really important that we talk about roles and responsibilities in the coaching relationship, and to fully embrace an aspect of the coaching mindset that really honors this fact that while we love our clients and we want them to be successful, we do not need to do all the work for them. So in a coaching relationship, both the coach and the client have responsibilities. It is your job to show up during every coaching session, to do everything possible with all of your skills and knowledge, techniques and competencies to set your client up for success in reaching their goals. But it is not your job to do all the research, to take all the notes, to send recap emails, to track all of your clients' progress, to identify their action steps, to hold them accountable, to know what works and what doesn't for them. That is all of their responsibility. So if you are doing all of this work for your client, then you are absolutely doing too much. If you take on all of these responsibilities, then of course the client won't. And you're going to become overwhelmed and the client won't be empowered. So it is much more empowering for your client to start taking responsibility for their progress and their success. So I know so many new health coaches who do all of this work because they don't really understand the value that they can provide as health coaches. So they feel that the only way they can provide value is to take on all this responsibility and just do it all for the clients. But the bottom line here is that it's actually a disservice to your client to do all of the work for them. They won't learn and grow unless they do the work. So here are my 5 tips to help you embrace this mindset so you don't burn out too quickly and so that your client can have better outcomes. My number 1 tip is make sure that the expectations, roles, and responsibilities are fully outlined and detailed at the very beginning of the coaching relationship. And you want to do that in the coaching agreement. I also recommend reviewing in detail everything in the agreement during your first session to make sure that you are both on the same page and you really understand who is doing what. This is really going to help clarify who's responsible for the various aspects of the coaching relationship. I do offer a full customizable 9-page coaching agreement in both my Health Coaching Essentials courses if you're interested in that. So my tip number 2 is all about saving time before the session. So a few days before the session, I like to send a quick email to confirm the time with my client and to check in around their action steps, what they accomplished, and what they want to focus on for the next session. This is something that you can schedule in your scheduling provider, or if you use a platform like Practice Better or Healthy, you can also schedule that in your email service provider as well. Also, I like to do just a quick 5-minute review of the client's file before the session. But it is not your job before the session, nor is it in scope, to research all the protocols, spend hours coming up with recommendations and suggestions, tools, and resources that you're going to provide to the client in the session. That's not your job. Tip number 3 is how to be more efficient during the session. So during the session, I invite clients to take notes. So make sure your client is taking notes about any aha moments, action steps, things they want to remember, learnings, takeaways, insights, patterns, right? Your notes particularly are for you so that you can recall details to reflect back to your client. These notes are not for you to be able to provide a full transcript of the session for the client. If your client does want that, you can record the session if you're on video through Zoom and send it to them after. I personally don't offer this unless it's asked for. My tip number 4 is all about how to save time after the session by inviting your client to send you a recap. So I used to spend up to an hour or more transcribing all of my notes and sending huge emails back to my clients after every session. When my practice started to build, that just didn't work for me from a time perspective. Also, it really wasn't beneficial for my clients. They practically never even read these emails anyway, and it put the responsibility on me, not the client. So now I invite my clients to send me a quick recap of what they're committing to after the session, and I really put the accountability for that on them. It's much more empowering if they become responsible for their action plan. And my final tip, tip number 5, is all about me being more efficient in between sessions. So I hear so many new coaches agreeing to do things like send texts, emails, to be there anytime the client needs them in between the sessions, and to hold them accountable. Well, the way accountability actually works is to have the client develop their own self-accountability, which, they won't develop if we do all the work for them. So when we're planning action steps, I always ask, how will you hold yourself accountable to this? Who else in your life can help with accountability, right? What other supports do you need? So if your client asks you to text them, to check in on them, send emails, we'll just turn that around and invite the client to text you, email you when they've done their action steps. And you can quickly respond with a quick thumbs up or a smiley face emoji, but this does not need to be a big exchange between sessions. Our role as the coach around accountability is really to check in with the client at the next session. That's our role in accountability. So just to recap, my 5 tips for saving time as a health coach are: number 1, get clear on expectations, roles, and responsibilities by outlining them in your coaching agreement. Number 2, do just a really quick short prep email before the session and a quick 5-minute review of the client file prior to the session. Number 3, during the session, invite the client to take notes. Number 4, after the session, invite the client to send you a recap email. And number 5, in between the sessions, set up accountability measures that your client is responsible for. So I hope this was helpful. I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments. See you next time. Bye for now.